Hey everybody, how you doing? This is the day before gun season opener in Tennessee. This is a Friday. I'm running out to check 4 trail cameras. 2 of these I've hunted in bow and muzzleloader. Have not taken a deer yet. 2 cameras are somewhat newer, out in some deeper jungle spots that look to be good, but hoping we have some big bucks on the cameras, but at least have does coming through quite frequently. So hoping today get a deer on the ground, have that boogie off our shoulder the rest of the season. But if we shoot a big buck, that'd be even better. But I'm gonna sneak back in these woods, check the cameras, and kind of scope out and judge where I should be sitting on opening day. Hopefully we got a bunch of deer on these cameras. It literally just rained 4 days straight this week until sometime yesterday, so I really don't know what to expect, but we're about to find out. Before we jump into this awesome video, I've got to give a big shout out and hello to my buddy Randall and his nephew Levi and his great niece Leah. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you guys watching the video. Woo-hoo! Alright, so I'm at the first spot. And this spot right here, I have not hunted this year, but we hunted it hard at the end of last year. Had quite a few pictures of some really nice bucks coming through this spot, but this spot is in between 2 ridges where a creek comes through. Let me show you this spot right here. There's the creek right there. You can see how thick it is through this spot. The furthest shot you'd probably get in here is maybe 10-15 yards. That is the 14th. Looks like this is the 14th. There's 1 deer here, and then 2 does down there. Looks like all 3 are does, and that was 2 days ago at 6:45 in the morning. And there's 3 minutes later, deer there, deer there. Same time, doe there, doe there. And then a couple more minutes later, camera switched over to color. Same does. A couple minutes later. Same deer, a couple minutes later. And 10:21, this camera was triggered, but I don't see anything. Then at 12:40 in the afternoon on the same day, there's a doe coming the opposite way in the middle of the day. That's kind of interesting. Then here's the next day at 9:30 in the morning, a deer coming this way. It's kind of fuzzy. The deer must have been moving. At this spot, the past 2 days, there have been doe in the morning. No bucks, just does the past 2 mornings. And actually in the afternoon for that matter. So this may be a good spot to sit for opening day, but we still have 3 more cameras to check. Let's go see what we can find on those cameras. Alright, so I'm at the second camera. I'll give you a shot of this place right here. It's thick in the woods. This camera is where 2 logging roads collide, and the deer use the logging roads. So do the coyotes and a bunch of other stuff. But I pulled out the highlights. I'm gonna show you those. But this camera has like 500 some pictures just last week. About 500 of them are turkeys. So I'm gonna show you the highlights here and just a couple pictures. Here is 4 days ago. You can see it's just picture after picture of turkeys and turkeys and turkeys and turkeys and turkeys. So many turkeys. Literally every day this week was like that, full of turkeys. Turkeys out the yin yang. But we also did get some deer in here. Literally all that's turkeys. This was 3 days ago. If you look, there's a doe right there. And then on this shot, there's a doe there and a doe there. And then that was it for that day. The deer didn't stick around long. And that was 3 days ago at this spot. And then a bunch more turkey pictures. And then this is actually yesterday at 8:23 in the morning. There is a doe right there. And then if we keep clicking, it comes a little closer, looks back at the camera, and then disappears. Oh, there was a squirrel. But at this spot, tons of turkeys, and then deer yesterday morning, and then 3 days ago. So that first spot had deer the past 3 days in a row. This spot had deer yesterday, and then 3 days ago. Let's go check another spot that's up in some thick woods too. This spot is a pretty thick spot too. If you look behind me, right here, there's a steep ravine where there's actually a waterfall. And there's a steep ravine this way, and there's a steep ravine this way. It's kind of down in the bottom, but this is the stand where I shot a small buck last year. The only deer I killed last year I killed from this spot. But I looked at the camera. We've got some deer in this spot this week too. So far we're 3 for 3 having deer on the cameras. This one has a little bit more exciting stuff on it. So, of course it had hundreds of turkeys like the other ones, but I'm gonna cut straight to the chase actually. First, there was a picture in the daytime of a coyote right there. There he is running off with a jar of peanut butter in his mouth from somewhere. That's pretty ridiculous. But then we get into the deer. So 3 nights ago, there's a doe. A couple pictures of that doe. Same night, walking around, and then something spooked the doe, tail up. And there comes a raccoon. Then the deer's back. Then, dum-dum-dum, 8-pointer shows up at 1 o'clock in the morning. And we get a couple shots of this deer. So, I don't know about anyone else, but in my book, that's definitely big enough to shoot. But the only bummer is, it showed up at 1 o'clock in the morning when I can't hunt. Then there was a turkey. Boop, boop, boop. More turkeys. And that is all we got off that camera. So a doe or two nights ago, and then that pretty decent 8-pointer. It's obviously not a giant deer, but to me that's exciting. To me, that's a big deer, especially for this area. I'd say that's at least an average deer, you know. But if that buck shows up tomorrow, I'm gonna pop him one. But 3 for 3 having deer on the cameras. Let's go down and check this other one. This last camera is literally down in a crazy bottom that until I put the camera up a little while ago, actually a week ago, I didn't even know this spot existed. So it might have 0 pictures, or it may be the deer paradise that I stumbled upon last weekend. But let's see what happens. I'm at the 4th camera now, and you can see it's literally right on a creek. There's the camera right there, and then look at this bottom. So this is a spot literally I didn't even know existed, and I found it last weekend and said, what the heck, let's put a camera up and see what happens. There's food to eat, there's water to drink, let's see what happens. And I'm really excited about this last camera because I just put it out on a whim, and we got pictures of deer at this spot. So check it out, literally right in front of the camera. You can see there aren't a whole lot of pictures, but if you look there, I think that's actually a coyote back there. And what is that? 4 days ago. And there's a deer running 3 days ago. And then there's a deer drinking 3 days ago at 6:30 in the morning. And then there's a deer coming the other direction 2 nights ago, right after midnight. And then we've even got turkeys down in here. And then another deer coming back this way at what? 5 o'clock at night. I absolutely 100% picked this spot on a whim, but right in front of where I put the camera, we had deer, coyote, and turkey. So this is absolutely going to be a good year. We didn't see a whole bunch of bucks, but every single day, at least one of the cameras had does. And then we had that buck, which I'm going to shoot if I see him pop up in the daytime. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. Honestly, I'm really not sure which stand I'm going to sit at. Right now, I'm thinking maybe that first one because it had deer on more days. But I'm definitely going to hunt all these spots during gun season. But we'll see what happens. Big shout out and a big thanks to Heavy Metal Guns and Outdoors. Don't forget to subscribe to their channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe to the WHOTEEWHO channel if you haven't already. Stay tuned for the next video.